Yeah, I think growing up, I always thought the dream was to get out of Fort Wayne, and it didn't seem like an option to be anything but a successful musician with my life. And then you accidentally fall into some other things you find you're good at, and you replace that, I don't know, hope of an identity with what your identity actually slips into, whether that's job or marriage or whatever. Why I still make music is a hard thing to answer. My son Wesley figured out the YouTube app on our TV, and the algorithm quickly figured out that just pounding EDM music is the perfect music for a 2-year-old. I'd always dabbled in electronic music, playing in bands. That was always like a little part of it I was trying to work in there. And I had a lot of concerns about appropriating that kind of music, because it's not like I'm some club head and I've always been into EDM and like finally it's my time to do it. It's like I really felt like an imposter. I had an identity thing going on where I didn't feel like there was anything that I, as a middle-class cisgendered white male, could possibly have to say that anybody needed to hear right now at this point, like that hasn't been said through 60 years of pop music. I mean, the reason I came to this studio today to do these videos, like the first priority is like, I gotta have something to show my kid because he asked to hear these songs, and now he'll be able to watch them on his iPad.
How are you measuring distance? 'Cause I can't escape you and yet I can't reach you. In 600 square feet of silence, with any less space we'd collide, but you won't look me in the eye. Close not to notice the motives in motion as our bodies speak. How far apart could we possibly be? Talk to me, tell me you see me, tell me that you'll still be here with me when we're not forced to be. Talk to me, tell me you see me, tell me that you'll still be here with me when we're not forced to be. Shut in with lovers through daytime, unable to turn our backs or hide broken lips under masks. We hear her on every corner. Every breath, every sigh, too close for clenched teeth to hide. The twist of inflection reveals our intention with each word we speak. How much more distance could two people need? Talk to me, tell me you see me, tell me that you'll still be here with me when we're not supposed to be. Talk to me, tell me you see me, tell me that you'll still be here with me when we're not supposed to be. Talk to me, tell me you see me, tell me that you'll still be here with me when we're not supposed to be. Talk to me, tell me you see me, tell me that you'll still be here with me when we're not supposed to be.
Your son is into really lit music right now.
Yeah, he's gone through some phases. He went through a Kendrick Lamar phase super early.
Wesley,
And,
you like Kendrick Lamar?
Yeah.
Good job.
Right now, we're stuck in a crunk phase where, like, radio hip hop 2004 to 2008 is all he's into.
So, you took a break. You mentioned that. You went to Nashville. Before that, you said you kind of do this compulsively. I really resonate with that, but I kind of want to dive a little deeper with that. Like, what happened to you when you stopped? Because I don't know, like doing it as a compulsion before you think about it is one thing. Stopping and then making a conscious decision to restart is another. So, do you feel like anything happened to you when you stopped?
Yeah, before I moved away to Nashville, I had been in a band for a few years that was pretty planned out, and I didn't feel like it was really much of an expression of how I really saw the world. It was I like these people I'm playing with, I want to play music, and this seems like a genre people really like right now. It seems like something I can pull off, even though I'm writing about drug experiences I've never had. I'm writing about demon possession I've never experienced, and it was this sort of it was a lot of shtick that I was putting on. So initially, when I stopped doing that and I moved away, I was like, this is great because now I'm going to get back to the core of what I want to do, and I'm going to take off this aesthetic. And then I tried to self-produce some music by myself while I was in Nashville. I didn't have a band then. It's tough to just break in there. So I just kind of sat with a whole bunch of ideas that didn't amount to anything for a year or so. When I moved back to Fort Wayne, I mean, immediately it's like, well, I've got connections. I've got people I can play with. I've got venues that will, if I tell them I want to play a show with this new act, they'll ask me, what date do you want to play? But then I had to really get intentional about like, okay, well, what do I feel like I am trying to say? Because I don't want to slip back into this, like I'm playing an aesthetic, not playing what's inside me.
Mentally caught in digression, wondering what happens next, disbelieving this is normal, or that we've seen the worst yet. 'Cause I don't feel it in this moment, hearing from alone, still affected but not present in my skin and bones. Waiting for a moment's passing till it passes all. Physically I am here, mentally I'm gone. Each day has felt like a birthday, where I don't feel older just yet. Suppose I should brace for the impact. Well, maybe I already have, 'cause I don't feel it in this moment, here in formal low. Still affected, but not present in my skin and bones. Waiting for a moment's passing till it passes all. Physically I am here, mentally I'm gone. 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 Gone.
As a younger person making music, I used to have kind of a disdain for people that I saw that were older, and to me then older was like people over 30 making music, and it was just like, what are you still doing? Like, especially people that seemed like locked into a groove they'd been in for a decade or 2 decades. And it's easy when you're young to look at people doing what they enjoy, because when you're that young, now this is the over 30 version of me now saying this, when you're young, you don't know yet what you enjoy. If you're doing something you enjoy, you don't yet know why you're enjoying it. You do it kind of compulsively. And I think it just takes some getting older to realize, like, you don't always get to pick what you have to do and what feels right to you to do. And you just have a choice. Like, am I going to do the thing that feels right to do, or am I not? And so I guess at this point, like, I'll stop doing this when it stops feeling right to make music. And I've found I wasn't looking for them, but, you know, since I was in high school and playing basement shows, it felt right to loop Casios and drum machines and beatboxing together. And a few years after that, it felt right to do electronic indie rock, and then it felt right to do psych music, and then it felt right to play some kind of country alternative. Now it feels right to try and make some weird form of EDM that my 4-year-old nods his head to, but I still feel like I can sing a song over. Who knows what will feel right in 5 years, but if it's music, I will still be doing it.
When I first caught it, I knew that I'd have grown smaller in you. Changing the way that you move. I know you're not mine to hold on to. Baby, you lied, you know you lied. Say that I tried, you know I tried. Don't make up your mind, give it time. Save your sighs, don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Maybe you saw it too. Maybe I don't want the truth. 'Cause when our plans turned out to be just plans, too fragile to hold in our hands. Baby, you lied, you know you lied. Say that I tried, you know I tried. Don't make up your mind, give it time. Save your sighs, don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Baby, I tried, you know I tried. Saw every roll, I heard every sigh. Say it's a lie, this can't be right. Don't say goodbye, don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye. Don't say goodbye.
You know, making music has been purely habitual for me. It's been a compulsion for me. I can't always put my finger on what motivates me to make music, but it's really easy for me to tell when I'm not exercising whatever gets built up in me through that medium. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I've jumped a lot of genres. I couldn't tell you what my voice naturally sounds like. I'm always singing like somebody. But I know if I stop singing, if I stop trying to chase a sound that I've heard, if I stop trying to collage together all these influences in music, even if I'm not singing about or I'm not trying to capture any specific frustration or thing that's bound up in me, I know I end up a lot more bound up. I end up a lot, I don't know, sometimes it manifests in physical pain. If I am not releasing that and expressing it in some way, even a way nobody will ever hear, I am a lot worse off. I'm a lot worse off to myself and to people around me, honestly. So it's not a surprise, I guess, that the people who love me and are close to me encourage me to keep doing it. It's not always because they want to hear it, I think. I think sometimes it's because they know I need to do it.
It was terror that taught me just how much I loved you. And I've fallen deeper with every scare. It was selfish to love only what I could lose. It's a terrible love, but I had to start somewhere. In the driver's seat on Sunday morning, stiffer than liquor, still stuck to my hand. Aware of you barely as they read Miranda. Outdoors in your house, coat relieved and embarrassed. It's a terrible love. It's a terrible love. Cracks in the flatware and cans on the counter. I'll make a point of you knowing I mind. And yeah, you never cracked so much as a smile. When my lace broke and I gave myself a black eye. I've never caught you not thinking I'm worth it. But some nights my mind's set on taking me there. So help me remember, despite bad beginnings, it's a terrible love, but I had to start somewhere. And it's normal to feel fear. how much I loved you. And I've fallen deeper with every scare. Too selfish to love only what I could lose. And it's a terrible love, but I had to start somewhere. And it's normal to feel fear. It's normal to feel fear. But I no longer feel fear.
Will you tell me about Holiday? I want to talk about it a little bit. Because out of all of your songs, I mean, your personal life shows up in every one of your songs, you know? But that one feels like a very special, like almost like we shouldn't be allowed to hear that, because it feels so intimately like about your love for your family and how much you're just like, I don't know. Can you tell me about where that came from, what it means to you?
Yeah. Going into 2020, I felt like I was finally kind of in a groove of doing electronic music, but I was still bouncing back and forth between like, being sort of an imposter to it. I had dabbled in everything from like this progressive house to future bass to all these different tempos and spikes in dynamic. And when things locked down, some idiotic part of me thought that somehow through lockdown I would feel this huge surge of creative energy, and I challenged myself to produce a song and put a video to it every single week, and I pulled that off for 10 weeks straight. And the stuff that came out of that was different. I think like forcing myself to do it really fast. Like the songs in this set, a lot of them are from that time or got remixed in that time into a more kind of cohesive thing. By the end of 2020, I had burned myself out pretty bad. And so to get myself back into it, I had to sort of rethink like how, like, be more intentional, I guess, about getting back into it. And I heard a couple kind of inspiring things like, oh, I really like that production style. Maybe I can go back and remix some of these, but I felt like I needed a song that just sort of put a bow on 2020, and the holidays were coming up. Started snowing a little bit earlier, and I've heard a lot of people talk about how 2020 brought all of us so low, and it was so messed up, and like meme after meme after meme about 2020 is this thing that just came along and wrecked all of us. But maybe I'm just speaking from a place of privilege here. That could totally be true, but it's my truth. And that's that 2020 just helped me focus on what really mattered. I couldn't even tell you the day that it happened. Just one day I didn't feel like drinking alcohol anymore. I did have some crushing lows, emotional lows. I remember getting to the end of a night where, and this is kind of referenced in that song, where I'd knocked some sense into myself. And by that I mean I lost my temper with myself. No one was around, and I hit myself in the head until I felt shaken loose. Not a very healthy way to come to a realization, but after you do that, you realize like, man, I haven't been in this place since I was like 6 years old and really angry at a video game. Like, what is going on with me? I think the things that happened socially in 2020 to our culture, I feel like every one of them was really important. So I got to the end of 2020 and I'm like, I am tired of hearing people talk about how 2020 was such a terrible year. I just started asking people like, what's one thing you did in 2020 that you're so glad you did, and it wouldn't have happened if not for all these other supposedly terrible things that interrupted your plan. I don't know, for me it just shook loose a whole bunch of patterns that needed shaken loose, and I left 2020 just enormously thankful. Like, I can do without all the things that people complained about losing in 2020. And again, I speak from a place of privilege, so I'm not saying this is everybody's truth, but for me, it broke some barriers that needed to be broken. It broke some patterns that needed to be broken. And now every piece of good news that you hear lifts people so high. And I don't know, something kind of special about that.
All of Main Street's lit up red and green for nobody to see. No one's gathered by the punch bowl at the company soiree. Parking lots are quiet places now that Salvation's bells don't ring. But when the snow falls undisturbed and clean, it brings a certain kind of peace. My 4-year-old is scared of Santa Claus, so the credit goes to me for winning bits his list of out-of-prints, fishes from obscurity, sorting boxes from the vestibule to the floor under the tree. I reflect on how much I can give, and I feel very lucky. So very lucky. And I lost count of all the things I missed, but I know it can't be half of just how many things I realized I'm grateful to have. Began to feel the same. I never got much lower. I've got a list of resolutions left I'll just carry over. But looking back, I changed so many things I could have never hoped for. And having knocked some sense into myself, now I'm staying sober. Wild, unwitting, well-meaning ones signal on the wire. It's easier to mean the headlines now than to find the liars. Never has the bar been lower set or the margins wider, but each momentary glimpse of light lifts us that much higher. And I lost count of all the things I missed, but I know it can't be half of just how many things I realized I'm grateful to have. And we might have a few less stories to take from blurry parties, or fewer pictures of our families sprinkled in our news feeds. But when we write in cards, I missed you, we're meaning more than you could know. And I have my best friend beside me, and we don't need mistletoe.